111.3 degrees east longitude, 30.7 degrees north latitude. This great canyon resounds with stirring chants that remain unchanged with the passing of time, witnessing the evolution of a river and an era. This is China's longest river, the Yangtze River. The Yangtze River originates from a glacier on the Geledindong Snowy Mountain in the Qinghai Tibet Plateau. The 6,543-meter-high snowy mountain spans over a distance of 6,300 meters and is located entirely within China. With an annual discharge volume of 956 billion cubic meters, the river is the source of 40% of China's freshwater lakes and streams. Its river basin occupies an area of 1.8 million square meters and is home to about 400 million people, making it the most populous river basin in the world. Like the Nile River in Africa and the Amazon River in South America, the Yangtze River nurtures life, fertilizes the soil, and has fostered China's ancient civilization, while also bringing disasters and suffering to riverside residents.
1931年洪水泛滥，水淹武汉3镇，死亡达14万人，腐蚀塞满汉口六渡桥一带的街道。1954年的特大洪水，武汉全城水困3月，京汉铁路中断近100天。
The image of this terrified and exhausted child has touched the hearts of many Chinese people. In 1998, a catastrophic Yangtze River flood struck Hubei province and burst a dam in its Jiayu county. Jiangshan, a 5-year-old kid, held on to a tree in the floodwater for 9 hours before she was finally rescued. Unfortunately, she lost 5 family members: her grandma, mother, 1 sister, and 2 younger brothers. After the flood, Jiangshan lived with a sister, her father, and grandpa. Her survival story has moved China, and she is now living a normal life with the help and care of many people. The same year Jiangshan was saved, the Yangtze River basin was seriously flooded, causing an economic loss of 250 billion renminbi and 1,320 deaths. At the same time, in the town of Sandoping, not far from where Jiangshan was saved, the Three Gorges project, the largest flood prevention project ever approved by the Chinese government and launched 4 years ago, was under intense construction. Jiangshan and the dam grew up together. The dam will help protect residents living alongside the Yangtze River from floods. Thanks to this giant dam, the world is now focusing even more on the Three Gorges, the Yangtze River, and China. The Yangtze River and the stunning Three Gorges were created out of the Yanshan movement and the movements in the Himalayas millions of years ago. Stretching from Chongqing in the west to Hubei in the east, the Three Gorges is the most magnificent natural gallery in the region. It is composed of the Chutang Gorge, the Wu Gorge, and the Xilin Gorge, and covers a total distance of 192 kilometers. As the throat of the Yangtze River, the Three Gorges is where man's dream of controlling water comes true. In the summer of 1919, the idea of building a dam at the Three Gorges was first proposed by Dr. Sun Yat-sen, the forerunner of the 1911 Chinese Revolution, in his blueprint for nation building. Between 1944 and 1946, Mr. Savage, an American dam engineering expert, visited China twice and wrote a preliminary proposal for the Three Gorges project, which attracted massive media attention. He told the reporters that the natural conditions of the Three Gorges are unique in the world. The project would not only prevent flooding, but would also stimulate economic development. It would become one of the world's greatest engineering projects. The Yangtze River flooding poses a serious threat to national security. After the founding of the People's Republic of China in 1949, the Chinese government gave priority to the Three Gorges project in order to prevent floods and improve the livelihood of its people. Controlling water, preventing floods, and safeguarding the lives and properties of residents are the main reasons behind this project. It also reflects the common wish of the Chinese people. From its proposal to implementation, the Three Gorges project went through a span of more than 70 years. In order to make a scientific and democratic decision, the Chinese government took a positive and prudent attitude and gave adequate consideration to different advice. In 1950, the Yangtze River Water Resources Commission of the State Council was established. It organized long-term discussion and analysis on the nature, sites, and functions of the Three Gorges project. In 1955, at the invitation of the Chinese government, many foreign experts participated in the planning process of the Yangtze River Basin project and the preliminary discussions and analysis of the Three Gorges project. They spent much time discussing with Chinese experts about the siting of the dam. In 1958, after organizing 2 site surveys in the Three Gorges area, the Chinese government decided to build a pilot dam at Shibi, Hubei province, which it hoped would offer practical lessons on how to build the dam. In 1970, it decided to build a second pilot dam, the Gezhouba Dam, in order to fully prepare for the project. Regarding the Three Gorges project, views differed on the feasibility, the construction time, and the height of the dam. To better analyze the pros and cons of the project, the Chinese government established a leading group to guide the discussions and analysis. And between 1986 and 1989, 412 experts and scholars were employed and divided into 10 groups to work on 14 different subjects in a comprehensive and scientific way. More than 3,200 professionals from 300 institutions were organized to tackle problems in 45 special areas, resulting in more than 400 breakthroughs. They also rewrote the feasibility study report on the project and recommended the adoption of a normal water storage level of 175 meters. On August 3, 1991, the revised feasibility report was adopted by the Three Gorges Project Review Commission under the State Council and was submitted for approval by the State Council and review by the National People's Congress. As the world's largest hydraulic complex project, the Three Gorges project also serves the purpose of power transmission and involves relocation of residents. Following the guidelines of one attempt construction as a priority development, featuring water storage by stages and continual relocation of residents, the project took 17 years to complete. The multi-purpose project comprises the embankment dam, hydropower plants, and navigation structures. The top of the dam elevation is 185 meters, and the axis covers a length of 2,309.47 meters. The dam features a concrete pouring area of 27.94 million cubic meters, twice that of the Itaipu Dam, the former world's largest hydropower station, over 3 times that of the Aswan Dam in Egypt, and over 10 times of the Hoover Dam in the USA. If the same amount of cement is used to build a wall 1 meter wide and 2 meters high, the wall would be 13,790 kilometers long, almost on par with 2 Great Walls. The dam is flanked by hydropower stations. 32 water turbine units of 700,000 kilowatts and 2 of 50,000 kilowatts are installed, with a total hydropower capacity of 22.5 million kilowatts and a power generating capacity of 100 billion kilowatt hours per year. The navigation structures include a permanent ship lock and a ship lift. The ship lock is a double-line, continuous 5-stage flight structure with 12 sets of gates in reverse Y formation. Called the grandest gate in the world, each set of gates is as large as 2 basketball courts and large enough for a 10,000-ton vessel to go through. The massive ship lock took nearly 5 years of excavation work to form a cut slope of 176 meters high. The ship lift is a one-way, one-stage vertical hoister, allowing 3,000-ton vessels to go through. The massive scale power transmission project took a long time to complete. The completed project features 6,519 kilometers of 500 kilovolt AC lines with a total power transmission capacity of 22.75 million kilovolts and 2,965 kilometers of DC lines with a total capacity of 18 million kilowatts. Its operation has reached China's strategic objective, facilitating an optimal distribution of energy and resources on a larger scale nationwide. After over a decade of effort, the Three Gorges project was substantially completed in 2009 as scheduled and began to show its huge comprehensive benefits.
春眠不觉晓，处处闻啼鸟。夜来风雨声，花落知多少。
Rural and urban people are now living a happy and peaceful life in the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze River. And little Jiangshan doesn't have to worry about floods anymore. In 2009, 11 years after the flood, Jiangshan went to high school. She is busy studying for admittance to her dream university in 2 years. However, as a lucky survivor from the 1998 flood, she comes here every year to pay respects to the rescue worker heroes, no matter how busy she is. Actually, Jiangshan is not alone. There are tens of thousands of other disaster survivors living in the middle and lower reaches as well. Speaking of the Three Gorges project, they cannot express enough gratitude. People in the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze River should not only thank the Three Gorges project, but also the relocated migrants. Without this project, 27,885 hectares of farmlands, orchards, and forests in 19 districts and counties in Hubei province and Chongqing municipality might be hit by floods. In order to protect all people downstream from floods, about 1.3 million residents in the reservoir area left their hometowns. The resettlement of migrants was unprecedented in reservoir relocations in terms of the number of people, the area involved, and the difficulties of the task. East or west, home is best. It is human nature for everyone to find it hard to leave their homeland. While a majority of residents were relocated nearby, the rest had to move further. Nearly 200,000 rural residents in the Three Gorges area moved to other provinces and cities, including Shanghai, Jiangsu, Zhejiang, Anhui, Jiangxi, Fujian, Shandong, Hubei, Hunan, Guangdong, and Sichuan. Following the principle of putting people first and relocating by law with transparent policy, the government tried to communicate with local residents, ensuring them all legal rights and good working and living conditions. Meanwhile, relevant industries were developed in the reservoir area, and many residents were re-educated and trained for better employment in order to maintain or improve their living standards.
这湖那就是，搬之前那地方就很不方便，交通也不方便，矮房子，有这个茶铺厂那里啊没得路，就是那个茅草路，所以说那个走路啊也很困难，有时候卖点粮食都卖不出去，要搬到那边来当然都好了。
当初那个移民啊，很多都不理解，包括我也在内，说跟那个离开母亲是一样的。你要技校在那儿住，你要是一下要搬起走，肯定大家都有想法，都是依附谁的。通过国际领导来做工作过后啊，大家都勉勉强强的搬起走了。好，通过那个搬起走过后啊，好那一下政策各方面都给我们很照顾我们嘛。好，大家都觉得那都搞好了，还是要感谢政府给我们办那个移民，确实把我们搞好了。
刚开始反正是还是有想法，因为啷个说耶？还是有点担心嘛，以后的生活啊没么子保障啊那些啊，是还是有点担心的。现在觉得还可以啊，当然还是不是可以，而是很好。现在觉得环境啊也发生了变化，生活条件呢都提高了，楼房都建起来了，也不像以前，吃的也好了，穿的也好了。
Migration not only means sacrifice and dedication, but also brings about new opportunities, new development, and new lives. Nowadays, the Three Gorges area is smelled of sweet melons and fruits all year long. Rows of small huts were replaced with new buildings, and beautiful, modern cities sprung up among the hills and streams.
浪在呀，高山了，大山了。
Like most of the large reservoirs around the world, the Three Gorges project also faced critical challenges such as ecological protection, impacts on geologic environment, sediment deposition, and heritage conservation. Close attention was paid to ecological environment protection, and a lot of work has been done in ecological restoration, water quality protection, species resources and habitat protection, and ecological and environmental monitoring systems. The Three Gorges area has complex geology as well as a vulnerable ecological environment. The Chinese government has pumped substantial funds into projects dealing with landslides, bank collapses, and high slopes. Efforts have been made to protect natural forests, return farmland to forest, fence areas for afforestation, and develop shelter belts in the middle and upper reaches of the Yangtze River and ecological barriers around the reservoir to combat soil erosion. Meanwhile, over 1,600 industrial and mining enterprises have been closed or removed, effectively mitigating the environmental pollution in the area. After the completion of the Three Gorges Dam, some aquatic organisms and plants will be submerged. Therefore, biodiversity protection was undertaken by the Chinese government. This is the finless porpoise protection base. It is a research institution focusing on the artificial reproduction of Chinese sturgeon. Since the 1980s, over 6 million Chinese sturgeons have been bred and released into the Yangtze River. Wuhan Botanical Institute has been studying the introduction and cultivation of rare plants in the reservoir area for several years and has successfully transferred them into other suitable areas along the Three Gorges. An ecological environment monitoring system was also built during the construction of the Three Gorges project. Now, there is tracking and monitoring of hydrology and water quality, pollution sources, local climate, and agroecological environment. many people worry that storage of water in the Three Gorges Reservoir may induce earthquakes. Chinese experts have undertaken comprehensive and in-depth studies into the issue since the 1950s.
水库地震呢，我认为基本上可以分成两大类，一类呢我们称之为叫做非构造型的，那么另外一种类型呢，我们叫做构造型水库地震。到目前为止，全世界只有4个跟水库有关的地震是它的震级是大于6级的，最大的不超过6.5级。三峡工程在兴建以前进行了大量的研究工作，从目前趋势来看的话呢，也地震部门的分析认为呢，短期呢也不会有超过5级的地震发生。那么这是三峡工程的这个水库地震一直在严密的监测掌控之中的。
The Three Gorges Dam is in an area with high crustal stability and away from seismically active plates. In 2001, the China Earthquake Administration developed monitoring and early warning systems in the Three Gorges area. The monitoring data shows that, since the dam was put into operation in June 2003, seismic activity remained in its originally weak state and didn't go beyond the expected standard. Sediment deposition is the most critical issue faced by the Three Gorges project. In the 1950s, nearly 1,000 experts were convened to do research on this issue. In the 1970s, a sediment model of the Three Gorges area was built in Wuhan. After precise mathematical analysis, the model for water filtration has proved to be able to balance the sediment in the reservoir and maintain over 90% of storage capacity after 80 to 100 years. Before the Three Gorges project, thousands of archaeologists were gathered to excavate and research cultural heritage in the Three Gorges area. Many valuable cultural relics were discovered and later displayed in national museums. At the same time, the Chinese government has made efforts to relocate and protect historical sites in the area. A century-old dream has come true. The dam, a symbol of the dream of generations of Chinese people, is now playing an important role in flood control, power generation, shipping, and water resource utilization. During the flood season of 2010, a catastrophic flood broke out in the Yangtze River, with maximum peak floods greater than those in 1998.
"长江洪峰通过上游干支流，三峡工程经受特大洪水考验。今天早晨8点，三峡工程迎来基本建成之后的第一次特大洪水，洪峰流量达到每秒7万立方米，刷新了1998年以来中国宜昌的最大峰值记录。
This summer, Jiangshan, who was rescued in the disaster, was already grown up. The preliminary design of the Three Gorges project was also completed in time after a decade of construction.
里面说了，比98年的水还大呢。
这次长江洪峰呢，经过这个三峡调蓄之后呢，是已经到达了这个沙市。那么大家现在可以看，现在在这里的长江的水位线呢，那么距我们1998年的这个最高水位线呢，大约还有3米的距离。
这是98年以前就建成的三峡大坝，那我的那些亲人就不会去世了呀。
At the scenic Wu Gorge, a single-masted wooden sailboat is often seen floating on the calm water. As a symbol of history, it's the only remaining wooden sailboat in the Three Gorges area. It's owned by the 100-year-old Tan Bang Wu, a living fossil of boatmen in Guandukou Town, Badong County, Hubei Province. Tan started to learn boating at the age of 6. Now, he is a great-grandfather of a large 4-generation family of more than 40 people. Sitting leisurely beside the river every day, he enjoys the beautiful sight of high mountains and calm water on which boats swiftly shuffle back and forth. This precious film, taken by a Dutchman in the early 1930s, is the earliest motion picture of the Three Gorges in the world. These images not only reflect the danger of water transport, but also demonstrate the poverty and backwardness in the Yangtze River area. But now, great changes have happened to this river. As the double-line 5-stage shiplock is put into use, the boatman song which once resounded through the gorges have died out, replaced by the hooting whistle of giant ships. After the reservoir water level reached 175 meters, the navigation between Yichang and Chongqing is significantly improved, with transit capacity enhanced, shipping costs lowered by a third, and traffic volume greatly increased. Over 90 years ago, Dr. Sun Yat-sen wished to improve the water transport on the upper reaches of the Yangtze River and to generate electricity with water power to develop industry. Mr. Savage, a world-famous dam engineering expert, also felt excited about the tremendous water energy resources of the Three Gorges. In his old age, he said, "If God could give me more time to see the completion of the Three Gorges project, my soul would surely rest in peace above the gorges." The dream of Dr. Sun Yat-sen and Mr. Savage seemed so unrealistic at that time, but now their dream has become true in this great era. A continuous output of electricity generated from the completed Three Gorges hydropower station is providing a strong driving force for China's economic development. As a green and renewable energy, hydropower can save millions of tons of coal every year and reduce the emission of mass harmful gases such as carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide. In this way, the Three Gorges project echoes the trend towards a low-carbon economy and use of clean energy, playing a critical role in combating global warming and extreme weather. while providing tremendous clean energy for China's high-speed and high-quality economic growth. The Three Gorges Dam, with its rich freshwater resources and the regulation of reservoir, is playing a great role in supplying water for the lower reaches in the dry season and solving the problem of water shortage in some areas.
1945, during that period of time, he designed many of the large dams in the western United States.
To turn generators and make electricity. This is a very clean source of power for people to use. And the last thing I can think of that dams are used for is navigation.
我作为一个联合国的罢工专家，而且曾经到三峡去过6次，我看到这个大工程的完成啊，是对于全世界这个水利工程界是一个很大的一个贡献。
中国人的在工程技术方面，现在最值得骄傲的就3件事情，一个就是航天，一个就是两弹，一个就是三峡工程。我们就感觉到三峡工程是非常成功的一项大工程。这么样巨大的工程，可以引起我们每一个中国人的自豪。
This is the Three Gorges when Dr. Sun Yat-sen wrote the blueprint for nation building at the beginning of the 20th century. This is the Three Gorges recorded in a film by a foreigner in the 1930s. This is the Three Gorges in the 1950s when the People's Republic of China was newly established. This is the Three Gorges in the early 1970s when the Gezhouba Dam was being built. This is the Three Gorges in the 1980s when the project was under discussion research. This is the Three Gorges when the 175-meter water storage level is reached. A dream China has cherished for a century. The Three Gorges project has transformed the gorges and the Yangtze River as well as people's lives. Now that the 175-meter water storage level is reached, the dam, which took nearly a century to build, will stand the test of time into the future. To face the challenges of global climate change and new situations arising during operation, the Chinese government and experts in relevant areas continue to explore and study, ensuring the project will run safely in the long term, keep bringing about benefits, and better serve China's economic and social progress, as well as people's livelihood. For Jiangshan, her long life journey has just begun. In June, after finishing her college entrance exams, she received an invitation from Beijing. As a special guest, Jiangshan went to Beijing to attend the premiere of a documentary film about the construction of the Three Gorges project.
"昔日在大难中得救的小江山，今天已渐渐长大。然而回想起98年那场滔天洪水，他至今仍心有余悸。"
Seeing the scene of her rescue by a policeman from the tree she had clutched for 9 hours, Jiangshan couldn't help shedding tears.
是啊，想表达对三峡工程感激。
At the media conference, she emotionally said,
小时候那会儿三峡还没建成的时候，我们当时呢心里就特别的慌张啊，害怕再发生那种类似的大洪水啊。自从三峡大坝建好以后，百姓啊什么我们村民都有个安居乐业的那种气氛了，大家都每天都开开心心的，再也不用经受那种恐慌了吧。感谢让我有健康成长的这个一个好环境，感谢大家多年的支持、关心、关注和帮助。
This documentary film not only had a deep impact on Jiangshan, but also made her fully understand for the first time the importance of the Three Gorges project for people's livelihood. This is why she is more eager to fulfill a long-cherished dream: to see the Three Gorges Dam with her own eyes.